I never thought an old video game could make me afraid of my own reflection. But I can't go near a TV anymore without feeling that crawling sensation under my skin. Like static, like something staring back. It started about 3 months ago when I found my old Sega Genesis in a dusty cardboard box at my parents' house. I was visiting for the weekend, rummaging through their attic, just killing time before dinner. The box was unmarked, sitting behind an old trunk, and inside were tangled cables, a few game cartridges, and a controller missing the start button. The first thing I pulled out was a black cartridge with no label. Just black plastic, slightly melted around the edges like it had been too close to heat. There was a piece of masking tape on the back with something scribbled in faint red ink, Sonic.exe. At first, I laughed. It was a dumb old meme from the internet, right? That cursed Sonic game people talked about in creepypasta forums years ago. But nostalgia hit me hard. I grew up playing Sonic 2 for hours as a kid. So I thought, screw it. I'll play this haunted cartridge and see what all the fuss was about. I took the Genesis home with me that night. When I got back to my apartment, I hooked it up to the TV. The cables were dusty, but it powered on instantly, honestly surprising, considering the thing was probably 25 years old. The Sega logo came up. That familiar sound, Sega, but it was distorted, slower, like someone dragging their finger across a vinyl record. C-E-Ga-A. I thought maybe the cartridge pins were dirty, so I took it out, blew on it, old habits, and stuck it back in. This time, the logo didn't even appear. The screen stayed black for a few seconds, then flashed red, just for a frame, and the title screen appeared, Sonic the Hedgehog only. The background wasn't blue. It was dark crimson, and Sonic's face wasn't right. He wasn't smiling. His pupils were black voids, dripping what looked like blood. The ring behind him wasn't gold. It was made of spinning flesh. It pulsed like it was alive. I froze for a second. It was too detailed, too high quality for a Sega game. Some kind of ROM hack, obviously, but the disturbing realism of it made me uneasy. Then I noticed something else. At the bottom of the screen where it should say press start, it said play. I hit the A button. The screen went black again. Then a list of save slots appeared, except they weren't empty. Each slot had a name burned into it. Tails, Knuckles, Eggman. That's not normal. You can't play as Eggman in any Sonic game. But there they were, each name flickering slightly like the text was breathing. I scrolled to Tails and pressed start. The game opened with the familiar Green Hill Zone music, except it was reversed. The colors were off too. The sky was gray, the water was black. Tails stood there, blinking innocently, waiting for me to move him. But when I tried to make him run, the usual cheerful sound effect didn't play. There was no sound at all, just a low static hum. I started walking right. For a while, nothing happened. No enemies, no rings, no checkpoints. Just emptiness. The longer I walked, the darker the background became. Then out of nowhere, Tails stopped. On his own. The screen shook slightly and text appeared above him like a dialogue box. He's watching. I frowned. He's watching? Who? Then I noticed something behind the tree in the background. A shape, blue. It looked like Sonic, but darker. His eyes were bleeding black streaks. When I tried to move Tails toward him, the shape vanished. The screen glitched, flickering red for a split second. Then another text box popped up. You shouldn't have come back. The static got louder. And I swear I heard a whisper through the TV speakers. Something like, keep playing. I paused the game, heart racing. Okay, maybe this was just an elaborate fan hack. Some creep made it to mess with people. But that whisper felt too real. Like it wasn't coming from the TV, but through it. I unpaused and kept moving. Tails' sprite began to slow down, even though I was holding right. The screen started zooming in slightly, like the camera was pushing closer to his face. Then I saw it. Bodies. Pixelated animals, squirrels, birds, rabbits, scattered along the ground. All of them cut open, eyes X'd out, surrounded by red pixels that dripped down the grass. Then Sonic appeared. He was standing in the middle of the screen, facing Tails. His grin stretched too wide, splitting past his cheeks. For a full 5 seconds, neither of them moved. Then text appeared under Sonic, "Do you want to play with me?" The screen went black. A distorted scream blasted through the speakers so loud I flinched and ripped my headphones off. When the picture came back, Tails was crying. Actual tears, animated, flowing down his face. He was in a new area now. A long hallway, walls of static flickering on either side. And behind him, Sonic's face appeared in flashes. Closer each time. I tried to make Tails run, but the controls lagged horribly. Every time I jumped, the screen would twitch violently. Then the game froze for a few seconds and displayed one final frame before cutting to black. It was Tails. His body hanging from a tree, eyes missing. That same static hum echoing underneath. Then the main menu came back, but Tails' save slot was now grayed out. Beneath it, the text read, "You can't save everyone." I don't know why I kept playing. Curiosity, maybe. Or something else. There was a strange pull to it, like the game wanted me to continue. I selected Knuckles next. The opening started in a cave. The walls pulsed faintly like veins under flesh. Every few seconds you could hear a faint heartbeat behind the static. Knuckles' sprite looked normal at first, but as I walked deeper I noticed he was leaving footprints. Red ones. Even though there was no water, no mud, no reason. Then, about a minute in, the music began to warp. High-pitched whining, reversed drums, fragments of voices whispering under it all. It didn't sound digital anymore. It sounded human. I kept walking until Knuckles stopped at what looked like a mirror, but the reflection wasn't his. It was me. For a second I thought I was imagining it, but it was me, my actual reflection. My shirt, my hair, my face, but my eyes were black, and behind my reflection Sonic was standing smiling. I backed away from the TV. It wasn't possible. I hadn't connected a camera. There was no way the game could show me. Then text appeared on the screen. "You look scared. Don't you remember me?" I ripped the cartridge out of the console. The screen went black instantly, but the static didn't stop. It kept buzzing faintly from the TV, even though the power light was off. That's when I realized my reflection on the dark screen was still there. Still moving. But I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Sonic's bleeding eyes staring back. I kept telling myself it was just some elaborate ROM hack, maybe with video feed code embedded somehow. But that didn't explain what happened next. When I woke up the next morning, my TV was on. The Genesis wasn't plugged in, but the TV displayed a black screen with white text. Continue, 2 options below. Yesnoy froze. I hadn't touched the remote. I tried turning the TV off, but it wouldn't respond. The buttons didn't work, so I unplugged it, and the text stayed, floating there in the dark glass of the unplugged screen. I left my apartment that day and went to stay at my brother's place for a while. I told him I was having electrical issues. I didn't mention the game. I didn't want to sound insane, but it didn't stop. Every night around 3 a.m. I'd hear the faint chime of the Sonic ring sound, that high-pitched bling, coming from nowhere. Sometimes from the walls, sometimes from my phone, even when it was off. And then I started seeing him. Not fully, just glimpses and reflections. In windows. A blur of blue, a smile too wide. A week later, my brother found the cartridge in my backpack. I didn't remember putting it there. He laughed when he saw the label. "Dude, Sonic.exe? You seriously still believe in that internet crap?" I told him not to play it. I begged him. But he didn't listen. That night he called me screaming. He said his TV wouldn't turn off. Said something was inside the screen trying to crawl out. The call ended abruptly with a loud screech that made my ears ring. I drove to his place, but when I got there, the apartment door was open. The lights were flickering and the smell of burnt plastic filled the air. The TV was on, showing the Sonic title screen. Only now there was a new name on the save slots. Under Eggman's grayed-out name, there was a new one. Alex. That's my brother's name. I smashed the cartridge. I burned it. I threw the ashes in the trash. It didn't matter. Every screen I own, my phone, my laptop, my TV, sometimes flickers with a blue hue before going dark for a second. And when it does, I see him. Not fully, just enough to know he's still watching. Sometimes I wake up and find text written on my monitor. "You can't delete me." "Want to play again?" "You look tired." And last night I heard the Sega intro again. That distorted voice whispering through the static. "See? It got..." When I turned toward the sound, my TV was on. It showed my room, my bed, my desk, the exact scene around me. Except in the reflection on the screen, there was something else. Standing behind me, a blue figure, grinning, eyes bleeding black, and then... He waved. I'm writing this now from a friend's house. I haven't gone home in 2 days. But even here, even now, I can still hear the faint ring chime. It's in the walls, in the silence, in the air. Whatever that game was, it wasn't a hack. It wasn't just a file. It was a doorway, and when I played it, I let something through. Final entry. 3:23 a.m. There's static on the mirror again. I think he's trying to come through. If anyone finds this post, don't look for that cartridge. Don't download any ROMs. You ever go down a YouTube rabbit hole so deep that it feels like you've crossed into another part of the internet? One you weren't meant to see? That's what happened to me last winter, and I wish to God I'd closed the tab when I had the chance. It started like any other night. I couldn't sleep, so I was aimlessly scrolling through horror videos. Urban legends, ARG breakdowns, creepy analog horror compilations. You know, the usual stuff. The algorithm led me to a channel I didn't recognize. It was called The Collector's Archive. No profile picture, no banner, just a black circle. The channel had only 14 subscribers and 7 videos, all uploaded 5 years ago. But here's what got me: the titles were dates. Not clickbait names like Real Ghost Caught on Camera or Found Footage from 1999, just dates like 509-21-407-12, 2004-11-23, 21-0403, 2016, and so on. Each thumbnail was identical, a single frame of a dark room, dimly lit by what looked like an old CRT television. And each video had exactly one view. I clicked on the first one, 0509-2014. The video started with static. Then the camera slowly panned across what looked like a child's bedroom. There was an unmade bed, a few stuffed animals, a toy chest, and a nightlight glowing in the corner. Everything looked normal except the footage had this heavy, suffocating grain to it, like old VHS tape static. About 20 seconds in, I realized something weird. There was no sound. Not even the faint hum of the camera mic, just complete silence. At the 47-second mark, the camera moved closer to the closet. The door was open just a crack. Inside was darkness, pure black. And then the video just stopped. No jump scare, no loud noise. Just a click and it ended. Runtime 0047. I checked the comments section, but it was disabled. The like-dislike buttons were grayed out too. Weird, right? I watched another one. 7/12/2014. This one was filmed in a kitchen. Same static filter, same eerie silence. The camera pointed at the refrigerator for almost a full minute before shifting slightly to the right, toward the hallway. Then I saw a figure, just barely visible, a tall shadow standing at the end of the hall, motionless. And then the frame glitched only for a fraction of a second, but long enough for me to see a face. Pale, blurred, but looking directly at the camera. I froze the playback and rewound, but when I paused on that moment, the face was gone, like it was never there. I should have stopped there. But I didn't, because I noticed something that made my stomach turn. In the background, taped to the fridge, was a calendar, and the date circled in red marker was 07/12/2014, the same as the video title. By now, I was convinced this was some kind of ARG or art project. So I clicked on another, 11/23/2015. This one started differently. No static, just a slow zoom in on a TV screen showing old home video footage. A family eating dinner, laughing, talking. The audio was faint but audible this time. You could hear the clinking of forks, the hum of conversation. Then the camera zoomed in further. The footage on the TV began to distort, faces warping into pixelated mush. And right as the father in the video turned toward the lens, his expression went blank, eyes rolling back, and the entire screen went black. Text appeared for a split second, too fast to read, but I paused it. It said, "He watches through you." Something about that line made me shiver. I started checking the upload dates more carefully. Each video title was a real date, yes, but not random ones. They were spaced apart in irregular intervals. When I Googled a few of them, I found something horrifying. Every single date corresponded to a missing person case in my state. All kids. All gone between 2014 and 2016. My throat went dry. I clicked on the next one. 04/03/2016. This one was darker. The video opened with a shaky handheld view of a basement staircase. You could hear faint breathing behind the camera. Whoever was filming was trying not to make a sound. Each step creaked softly as the camera descended. When it reached the bottom, the lens pointed toward the center of the room. There was a single chair under a light bulb. Someone was sitting in it. A child. Maybe 8 or 9 years old, blindfolded, duct tape over their mouth. Their hands were tied behind the chair. The camera inched closer. You could hear the breathing get louder now, panicked, uneven. The light flickered, and for half a second you could see something behind the child. A tall shape, arms too long, head tilted unnaturally to one side. Then the video cut off. Runtime 01.06. I wanted to throw up. I didn't want to believe it was real, but the fear sitting in my stomach told me otherwise. I tried refreshing the channel page, but suddenly the videos were gone. All of them. Every upload replaced with the message, "This channel has no content." I thought maybe YouTube had taken it down mid-browse, but when I checked the URL again, it said, "User the collector is watching." That wasn't the original name. I slammed my laptop shut. The next few days, I couldn't get those images out of my head, especially the kid in the basement. I started checking local missing persons cases again, hoping maybe it was all fake. That's when I found a forum thread, buried deep on Reddit, titled, "Anyone Remember the Collector's Archive?" The post was 7 years old. The comments were full of people saying they'd seen the same channel around 2015 before it vanished. One user claimed the videos were sent directly to certain users via private links, no public listing. Another said he'd received a message from an account called The Collector saying, "Next is yours." I scrolled down until I found one final comment from a deleted user. It read, "If you saw the channel, it saw you too. Don't open your camera." That night, my laptop camera light flicked on by itself, just for a second. Then I got an email. No subject line, no text, just an attachment, 0509-2024.mp4. My heart dropped. The same naming format. 10 years later, I didn't open it. I deleted it immediately and unplugged my webcam. Then I went to bed and tried not to think about it. 2 days later, my friend Liam texted me. He said, "Dude, what the hell did you send me?" I had no idea what he was talking about. He sent a screenshot. It was that same video file name, R0509-2024.mp4. He said it was from my email address, but I hadn't sent anything. I checked my sent folder, nothing there. No record of the message at all. I told him not to open it, but he already had. He said the video showed a bedroom, my bedroom. From the corner of the room, he said he could see me sitting at my desk typing on my laptop. Then the camera panned to the closet behind me. The door slowly opened, and something stepped out. He said it was tall, too tall to be human. Its head brushed the ceiling and its arms hung down past its knees. He stopped watching before the end. I told him to delete it immediately. He said he already had. But then, a minute later, he texted again. "Dude, my camera just turned on." Then nothing. I called him, but it went straight to voicemail. The next morning, I found out from his sister that he hadn't come home that night. I went back to YouTube and searched for The Collector's Archive. It didn't exist anymore. But in my recommendation sidebar, one video stood out, no title, no thumbnail. Just the same upload date format, 0509-2024. I clicked it. The video opened to a familiar scene. My apartment. My desk, my laptop. The camera was already rolling. I could see myself sitting there typing. The angle was from the closet. My blood went cold. As I watched, I saw myself pause, look around, and then stand up to turn off the light. But before I did, something moved in the corner of the frame. A shadow detached itself from the wall. It crawled forward, inching closer to me, then it reached up, and the screen cut to black. Runtime 02.7. Underneath, the only text in the description box was, "He watches through you." I slammed the laptop shut again, but the faint sound of static kept playing, even with the lid closed, even with it unplugged. Then my phone buzzed. A notification from YouTube. "Your video 0509-2024 has been successfully uploaded." I hadn't uploaded anything. When I opened the app, the video was there on my own channel. The thumbnail showed a still image of my face. Eyes blacked out. I deleted the video. Within seconds, it reappeared, again and again, each time with a new title. "He watches through you." "He likes your room." "Next is yours." I deleted my account entirely. But it didn't stop. Now random people on Instagram and TikTok have started tagging me in videos. clips showing my apartment, my street, my window. Every one of them ends the same way. The camera pans toward the dark corner of a room, and there's always something there watching, tall, still, waiting. It's been a week since I've slept properly. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the faint sound of static. Sometimes I wake up and find my laptop open, even though I unplugged it and shoved it in the closet. Sometimes the camera light blinks once just before dawn. I covered the lens with tape, smashed the webcam, threw the laptop out completely. But I still see that faint red glow in the dark sometimes, hovering steady like a recording light, watching me. And sometimes when I pass mirrors or dark windows, I catch a glimpse of something behind me, taller than I am, face blurred, head tilted sideways. Last night, I tried logging into a new YouTube account using a VPN. Fresh start, different device, new name. But when I opened the homepage, I didn't even search for anything before it appeared. There it was, a recommended video. No title, no thumbnail. Just black upload date 10/14/2025. Today's date. And under it, the uploader name, The Collector's Archive. I clicked it, just for a second. It started playing immediately. No buffering, no static. Just clean HD footage. It was me, sitting here, typing this story, from the closet's point of view. I used to be a high school teacher. Used to be. Now every time I hear the words lockdown drill, my chest tightens and I can smell the dust and copper of that night again. The night our school went into lockdown, but it wasn't a drill. It's been 3 years. I still can't make sense of it. But maybe writing it down will stop the memories from looping every time the lights flicker. I worked at Miller Ridge High, a medium-sized school in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by fields, train tracks, and miles of empty road. I taught English to sophomores, the kind of kids who passed notes during class and rolled their eyes at Shakespeare but still said thank you at the door. It was late November, 2022. We were finishing up after the evening parent-teacher conferences. The halls were nearly empty. Only me, the janitor, and 2 other teachers were still in the building. The PA crackled once, then silence. I figured the intercom system was being tested. At around 8:40 p.m., I packed my things and was heading toward the exit when the lights flickered. 3 quick blinks, and then the alarm went off. Beep, beep, beep. A red light flashed over the doors. Then the automated voice came over the speakers. Lockdown, lockdown, this is not a drill. At first I thought it was an error. Who would stage a lockdown at night? There were barely 5 of us in the whole building. I pulled out my phone, but there was no signal. The Wi-Fi was down too. I checked the hall camera monitor by the main office. The feed was completely black except for static lines. That's when I heard it. Footsteps. Down the far end of the hall. Slow. Heavy. Not running. Walking. 1 step at a time. I couldn't see anyone. The corridor was dimly lit, and the motion sensors weren't triggering the lights properly. But I could hear the squeak of wet shoes against the tiles. I called out, "Hello? Is someone there?" No response, then the footsteps stopped. And a single locker door creaked open. I told myself it was just the janitor. Probably Mike, he always worked late. So I headed down that hallway to check. The air felt strange as I walked, thicker somehow, like humidity after rain. Except it was freezing. My breath came out in fog. Halfway down the hall, I saw something on the floor. A streak of red leading toward the lockers. Not paint. It glistened. I bent down to look closer, and that's when the PA system crackled again, distorting mid-sentence. Lock. Lockdown. Remain where you are. Then it cut to static. I turned to head back toward my classroom. That's when I saw someone standing at the end of the hall. They were tall, too tall, and standing completely still facing me. The lights above them were out, so I couldn't make out their face. Just a dark silhouette. Their head tilted slightly to the left. Then the intercom buzzed again and whispered almost directly into my ear, "Don't look away." I bolted. I sprinted back to my classroom, slammed the door, and locked it. The emergency lights were flickering red, casting shadows that stretched unnaturally long across the floor. I hid behind my desk, trying to calm my breathing. Then I saw movement under the door, 2 shadows, one walking slowly past, the other following behind. I strained to listen. No voices, no breathing. Just the faint scrape of something dragging along the floor. Something metallic, It passed the door, stopped, then knocked. 3 times, soft, rhythmic, knock, 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 then silence. Minutes passed, maybe 5, maybe 15. It was hard to tell. I thought about making a run for it, but the hallways were labyrinthine and pitch black beyond the emergency lights. Then faintly, I heard the sound of a phone ringing. A desk phone. The one on my wall. It shouldn't have been possible. The power was out, the system was dead. But it rang, shrill and old-fashioned. I picked it up. Static hissed on the other end. Then a voice, faint like it was being whispered from far away. "They're not supposed to be here." I swallowed. Who's not supposed to be here? No response. Just static. Then the voice again, a little clearer now. "They look like us." I hung up immediately. The hallway was quiet again, but the silence felt wrong. Pressurized. Like the air was waiting for something. After a few minutes, I crept toward the door and peered through the small rectangular window. The corridor was empty. I opened the door carefully, trying not to make a sound. Every footstep echoed like thunder in the empty hall. That's when I saw the janitor's mop cart. It was overturned, the bucket spilling red water all over the tiles. The mop handle was bent in half, and on the wall above it, written in huge dripping letters, were the words, "He's inside." I started toward the front exit. The red lockdown lights above the doors were still flashing, but I didn't care. I just wanted out. As I got closer, though, I noticed something. The windows were black. Completely blacked out, as if someone had painted over them. I pressed my hand to the glass. It was ice cold, but there was no reflection. Just void. Then a voice came over the PA again. Only this time it wasn't automated. It was human, male, deep, and it said slowly, "You can leave, if you're sure you're the same one who came in." I froze. The lights flickered again, once, twice, and when they came back, I wasn't alone. There was someone standing down the hall, facing away from me. They were wearing my clothes, same jacket.
Same jeans.
Same shoes. For a moment, I thought it was a trick of the light, some mirror reflection. But then he turned his head slightly, and I saw my own face, not perfectly, like it was stretched, blurred, too smooth. Like a bad copy. Then, in perfect synchronization, it smiled. I didn't. It started walking toward me. I ran. I didn't even think. Just ran down the side corridor toward the science wing. Every door I passed had the lights flickering behind it. Classrooms I knew were empty suddenly looked occupied. I saw shapes moving behind the glass, pacing, bending, crawling. At one door I stopped dead. Because inside, sitting at one of the desks, was me. Again, sitting perfectly still, hands folded, head tilted. Then it stood up slowly and the fluorescent lights flickered out. I turned and sprinted for the back stairwell. I could hear the other version of me following now, footsteps echoing just behind. Every time I looked over my shoulder, it was closer. I reached the basement level, the old boiler room. The smell of rust and damp air hit me like a wall. It was pitch black except for the faint orange glow from the emergency bulb. I hid behind a stack of boxes and tried to quiet my breathing. Then, I heard my own voice. "You shouldn't have come down here." It sounded exactly like me, but layered, distorted, deeper. Something moved in the dark. I could hear footsteps circling slowly, scraping the floor. Then the emergency light flickered, and for half a second, I saw it. A shape wearing my skin, eyes completely black. Jaw hanging open too wide. It dropped to all fours and crawled toward me. Fast, I screamed and grabbed a metal pipe from the ground, swinging blindly. It hit something solid, and the thing shrieked, not like a human scream, but a high-pitched distortion like feedback. The light flickered again, and it was gone. I didn't waste a second. I bolted back upstairs, lungs burning. When I reached the main hall again, everything was silent. The red lockdown lights had stopped flashing. The intercom was dead. The hallways looked normal again, clean, empty. It was 2:13 a.m. 4 hours since the lockdown started. I pushed open the main door, and this time, it opened. Outside was dark but calm. No sirens, no police, just the sound of the wind and the hum of distant highway lights. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. The next morning, when I came back with the police, the school looked untouched. No red writing on the walls. No overturned mop cart, nothing. They found Mike the janitor asleep in the supply room. He swore he didn't hear or see anything all night. The other teachers who'd been there? Same story. One said she thought the lockdown message was part of a system test. Nobody believed me when I told them what I saw. But then they checked the security footage. The cameras did record that night. But the footage was wrong. On every feed where I should have been visible, there were two of me. One walking normally, one following behind. The second version moved slower, head tilted, always facing the camera directly. And in one clip, just before the feed cut to static, it turned to the lens and whispered something. The audio was faint but clear enough when enhanced. He's still inside. They told me it was a glitch, a corrupted recording, but I know what I saw. I know what followed me out because now whenever I pass a mirror, I see him, not always. Not every time. But sometimes, he blinks when I don't, he smiles before I do. And once, just once, when I turned off the bathroom light and glanced back, he didn't move at all. He just stood there, grinning, in the dark. I quit teaching after that. I moved 3 states away. New job, new apartment. But 2 weeks ago, the school district sent me an envelope. No return address, no letter inside. Just a single Polaroid photo. It showed Miller Ridge High at night. Every window was black. And in the reflection of the main door, I could see myself standing there, only I wasn't there.